Golden Blue Dude here with you again, and if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. I make videos every single day, sometimes multiple videos. If you're not a West Virginia fan, you might as well just move on past this video. This is another West Virginia video. So, today I'm going to take away some pros and cons for the game against Eastern Kentucky. So, we'll start with the con real quick. So the big thing that I noticed that we desperately need to work on is our special teams. Number one, kick coverage. We gave up a kick return for a touchdown that luckily was negated by a penalty by Eastern Kentucky. And we also muffed a punt. And we allowed them to have better field position because our kick coverage was not good. And whenever we were receiving the ball, we would have penalties, and I mentioned the muff punt. So special teams needs special attention right now. And I don't know what's going on through Staley's mind, but our field goal kicker, he needs to get his mind in the game. He missed that 29-yarder, and then the camera panned to him on the sideline, and he was moping. Dude, stop moping. Get your head in the game. Even if you miss, put it behind you and say, I got this. Put your head up. Stop moping. Confidence. You gotta have confidence if you're going to make field goals. So, yeah, a little worried about that. But we do have the Troy transfer, so we'll see if there emerges a much more better kicking competition because Staley did not look comfortable or confident. So, then another kind of shaky thing was our cornerbacks. Now, Ade, he was named the highest ranked defensive back in the second week. They assigned points, and he was assigned the highest amount of points out of any defensive back in the nation. We got ourselves something cooking in Morgantown. But I do think our cornerbacks as a whole need some work, especially on man defense. We gotta figure out the bump and run coverage a little bit better. I think the zone we looked a little bit better, but you gotta remember, zone you don't have to be quite as quick because you're covering your zone. You're not sticking to a man. So we have to work on our footwork. That's the big thing that I saw, our footwork with our cornerbacks. Now let's move on to the positives. First of all, Jarret Doege, spot on. He looked awesome, spread the ball out. 10 different receivers for West Virginia had at least one catch. Passing game was what we expected. What I want to talk about is the big improvement we saw. And you already know what I'm talking about, West Virginia fans. The run game. We had not one, two running backs go over the 100-yard mark. Leddie Brown, he had 10 rushes, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. Alec Sinkfield, 15 rushes, 123 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And even Tony Mathis, 18 rushes, 55 yards, and 1 touchdown. And for the first time, well, we didn't even do it last year, so in over a year, West Virginia went over 300 yards rushing in a single game. Now, do I think we'll do that every game? No. But I do think we can be much more productive this year. Here's the amazing thing. Go back and watch this game and be looking for this. Maybe you were just watching the ball game in general, but I was looking for something specific. The offensive line blocking. And here's what I saw. Last year, we forget that these offensive linemen, they were recruited to block for the pass. And what does that call for? Backing up, making sure nobody gets around you. The run game, they weren't taught to get the push, shed, get to the second level. They weren't taught that. They were learning that last year. The very first game, I saw a ton of that. And that's why our rushing game was freaking amazing. Our offensive line got that initial push, and whenever the running back started to hit that hole, they got off that block because they knew the runner had it, and they went to the second level. That's why we had so many, beyond 4-yard rushes, because they wouldn't stick on the block and then hopefully the running back can juke the linebacker with it. No, they would get the push, get to the second level. And that is what head coach Neal Brown is extremely efficient at teaching. He is very good at teaching our offensive line to get the push Once you have the push, get off that block, get to the second level. And you saw it with the ineligible flags. That's a good thing. Don't think that's a bad thing. That means our offensive line is getting upfield, and that's what you want. In the running game, if you want those big chunk yards, you want your offensive line to get upfield. So don't worry about those penalties. Those will get cleaned up. They'll get their signals more understandable and all that stuff. Communication will be much more crisp. Don't worry about that. Those flags were actually a good sign. Our offensive line was getting to the next level. They were opening up the initial hole, then they would get to the next level, and there you go, chunk plays. And it was perfect. If our offensive line can keep doing that, guys, 8 wins is not out of the question. I know that sounds crazy. I know it sounds like an overreaction, but I'm just saying, if our offensive line can continue to get the initial push, get to the second level, 8 wins is not out of the question. And we forget that our offensive line was down 2 starters. 2 of our starters did not play because of that stupid suspension, because they decided to party and get drunk and post it on Snapchat. Hopefully they learned their lessons, because I'm sure they're getting 2 weeks of hell in practice. But anyways, my point is, offensive line, magnificent. If they can do that all year, guys, it's going to... We look like a whole different team. And you know what the funny thing is? We didn't actually improve on talent. We didn't get in it, like a 5-star, 4 stars. All of a sudden we're great. No, coaching. We have an awesome coach. I'm excited. I don't know about you. That's all I got for this video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you on my next video.